I don't know, certainly in the last 40 or 50 years, I'm not aware that there's been a proceeding to address that.
As Councilman Vinny Palermo sits in jail tonight, charged in federal court with honest services fraud conspiracy, 2 counts of honest services fraud, bank fraud, and 5 counts of wire fraud, and his title as City Council Vice President already temporarily removed. The city is investigating to determine if Palermo may have violated the city charter. I spoke to Omaha Deputy City Attorney Bernard Indenbosch about the section they're looking into now, while others are calling for Palermo's resignation. Section 8.05 in the spotlight now as another possibility that could determine Vinny Palermo's future on City Council.
Section 8.05 of the charter prohibits employees as well as city officials to receive a benefit from city contracts.
According to the federal indictment, Omaha Glass Pro, once owned by Vinny Palermo, allegedly received $93,000 from city contracts.
There were allegations in the indictment that Mr. Palermo had the companies that Mr. Palermo was affiliated with had received city contracts.
Section 8.05 also states for willful violations of that provision, that person can forfeit their office.
It was another potential area where Mr. Palermo's continued service as a city council person could be in jeopardy.
It was brought up at City Council Tuesday, but Indenbosch says he's been looking at it since the indictments were released.
We're aware of it. I frankly discussed it with a couple council people last Saturday, 3 days before the council meeting.
But simply having these allegations within the indictment isn't enough to act on it yet.
Obviously, they have evidence that they have that it's based on, but we're not necessarily privy to the same evidence that the U.S. Attorney's Office has. So we have to gather evidence to be able to establish whether that in fact is true.
And he says that could take some time.
Some of the information is easy to get, public documents. Some of the other information relative to whether or not someone has an interest in the company, it may not be available publicly.
Meanwhile, a federal judge decided today that Palermo will stay behind bars until trial, prompting other city officials to call for his resignation, including Mayor Gene Stothert, Council President Pete Festerson, and Councilmember Brinker Harding. We will continue to follow the developments in the case. Indenbosch says if they are able to gather the evidence they need, then conversations with council will follow to determine the process going forward. You can view the full statements included in this story on our website, that's 3newsnow.com.